If you love all things fashion and the 90s, you're going to love In Vogue the 90s, the documentary on Hulu. This is a 6-part documentary, and I'm going to make a video recapping each episode. So I already have part 1, 2, and 3 posted. This is part 4, and it's all about the rise of the Met Gala. I also just want to say that you get lots of interviews from a lot of the supermodels themselves, so it's a very hands-on documentary. If you're dying to know what the Super Bowl of fashion is, it's the Met Gala. The Met Gala takes place every first Monday in May at the Metropolitan Museum in New York. Many think that the Met Gala is something new and that recently started, but it actually started in the 1940s and was very aimed towards only inviting guests who were super elite and socialites. Anna Wintour didn't take over the Met Gala until 1995. That's when we started seeing a lot more celebrities attend because she didn't want it to just be for socialites. She wanted it to be for people who were kind of having their moment. That's why a lot of people who are having a really great year tend to get invited. While all of that was happening, Isaac Mizrahi decided to create a documentary called Unzipped, which was a behind the scenes of a supermodel's life. At that time, there was really nothing like this, a behind the scenes look at what the supermodels were actually doing, so people were very intrigued. The documentary kind of takes a turn and talks about Gianni Versace and his influence on fashion and just how much the supermodels loved working with him. Unfortunately, he was gunned down in front of his home in Miami, and his sister Donatella would end up taking over the brand as creative director. Then we go into none other than Sex and the City, and we talk about the fashion that is in that show because obviously to this day, this show still is a cultural phenomenon. And if you don't already know, Carrie Bradshaw was obsessed with her Fendi baguette. When she wore the Fendi baguette, it really opened up the door to other fashion houses, and they started reaching out and wanting to work with the show because at first a lot of people didn't really want to work with them, but the more that they saw and then you started seeing actual name brands, the doors started to open. The show just didn't include a lot of fashion, but Carrie Bradshaw did end up getting a job at Vogue, and then we cannot forget when she goes to Paris, the famous Dior scene where she falls, and that's one of my favorite episodes. It's mortifying, but I love it. In the late 90s, VH1 had their very first fashion awards. Tom Ford won for Designer of the Year, as he should. I mean, his Gucci era was unmatched. This is when fashion really started to equal entertainment, and then runways were kind of becoming, I don't want to say boring, but people just weren't as intrigued. Enter Alexander McQueen, who had Shalom Harlow walk down the runway in this white dress, and then he had these machines spray paint on her. And it was the most entertaining thing that anybody had ever seen, and it was talked about. So before, Bella Hadid and her sculptural 3D dress that they did, this was the moment. This was what really made runways, not just runways, but entertainment value as well. There was a lot covered in episode 4, and it's been one of my faves so far, but wait till you see episode 5. Dying to know your thoughts. Let's chat in the comments.